welcome to BookTube. My name is Brenna Green. This is my channel, Pineapple Strawberry. Today I have two book talks, not one but two. This is the 14th Goldfish by Jennifer L. Holm, and this is Always the Baker, Never the Bride by Sandra D. Bricker. Two completely different books, but I decided to do them both in one video for a book talk. Two separate book talks, not one book talk. But yeah, I wanted to do these two because I read them over the span of like a week, and I just think it would be easier and maybe even more fun if I did them both in one video. So there's construction going on outside. Hopefully you don't mind or you don't hear it as much as I hear it. And there's my pool. So hopefully you hear me over my pool and the construction over there. Let's get started. I'm gonna start with the 14 Goldfish because it's low-key like slipping out of my mind already. The story was good, but it's just not a memorable book very much. Okay, I'll start off by saying that I read this in one day. I read this yesterday. I started at like 3 o'clock in the morning and I finished at like 9 o'clock in the morning. It was a fun little journey. Yeah, I just felt like I needed a middle grade book in my life, and let me start off by saying what it's about. Hold up. So, you know that point in time where you go from elementary school to middle school and your life kind of changes, you switch friends? So this is about a girl that's going through that right now, and she had like this best friend that she grew up with her entire life, and now they're drifting apart, and then she lost her goldfish very recently, and she's just missing everything back in her life before, and she's not really accepting change. So there's this new boy in town, and he comes into her house and he's really like grumpy and really sassy, and he talks back, and she goes, hold up, wait a minute, you're my grandpa. And she figures out that the little boy is about her age, or maybe even, I think he's like 13, but yeah, he's around her age, and she figures out that it's her grandpa. So then she figures out that her grandpa used this youth potion type thing to make himself younger. And her grandfather is staying at their house, and he completely flips her life upside down and just brings her to the realization that change is okay, and she makes new friends, and she figures out her interest in science. There's a lot of science in this book, and you can learn a lot of new things in this book. I sure did. And it's just a crazy story how one person can just come into your life and then come out of your life so quickly and just like change your whole point of view on life itself. So yeah, this is a story about change is okay and moving forward is okay. I rated this at 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was a good book. That's what I rate books, where it's like good, but it wasn't anything like super special. I just thought that maybe it would have gotten more stars or more points if it had more adventure in the book. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. They sent out this boy named Raj on this experiment, like this adventure type thing, and Ellie was sitting in the car waiting for her friend to get back from his adventure, but the story didn't follow her friend on the adventure, but it just sat in the car with Ellie. And I thought that maybe if there were more adventures in this book, then it definitely would have gotten more points. The characters were great. I really enjoyed Raj. He was my favorite. He was really cool and laid back, and I just think that him and Ellie's personalities really mix super well together, and I wanted them to get together, but then I was like, oh wait, they're like 11. The settings were easy to picture, and it was just a really good book. For all my little readers out there that like middle grade books, I think this is worth a shot. So the next book that I have to do a book talk on is Always the Baker, Never the Bride. This is by Sandra D.
Sandra D.
This is about this girl named Emma Ray Travis, and she's a baker. She's a diabetic baker. How ironic. So she can taste her food, but she can't eat her food. And it says on the back, but who would want a cake they couldn't eat? And I thought whenever I first picked up this book that it was going to be about this girl that's like single, but she wants to get in a relationship, but she can't get in a relationship. Look, that's my sister. But okay, so I thought this book was going to be about that, but it turns out that this actually means like she's diabetic. She literally can't eat her cake because she's diabetic. So yeah, there's this girl named Emma Ray Travis, and she's a baker, and she works in a bakery straight out of culinary school. I think she's like 30 something. So she's top dog at the baking situation, and she gets a call from a hotel, and they're like, hey, we want you to come in for an interview. Jackson Drake bought a hotel, and he's turned it into like this wedding hotel. So you need to come in for an interview, and we want you to take this job to make wedding cakes for this hotel. So she comes in, does an interview, gets the job. She meets the owner of the hotel, Jackson Drake. So as you might have guessed, because it is adult fiction and a chick lit. This is a love story between Emma Ray Travis and Jackson Drake. I really enjoyed it. It focuses just as much on the love story as it does on Jackson Drake, with his little internal conflicts of like loving Emma Ray but then not loving Emma Ray, so he like goes to her and then pushes her away. His conflict is definitely a big part of the story. It does have both point of views, like it's, I don't know, the first person, third person type thing. I think first person is like using I. It doesn't use that. It uses like, oh, Emma this, Emma that, Jackson Drake this, Jackson Drake that. Parts of the story have like the narrator following Emma around, and then parts of the story have the narrator following Jackson Drake around, which is really interesting. I really like when that happens, because then the reader can get to experience like what the girl is thinking and feeling, and then what the guy is thinking and feeling, because guys are, I don't understand them. This is a Christian book. It has that in its actual genre on Goodreads, BookTube, Goodreads. But I didn't mind. It wasn't like super overwhelming, but just know before you read this book that it does mention God quite a lot in the book. I rated this book a 4 out of 5 stars. It was just what I needed at the time. A really cute, light read. I don't know, it was just great. I got involved in the story a lot. Although I didn't ship them in the beginning, whenever they actually first met, I was like, this is not gonna work out. And then towards the end, I was like, yes, team Emma Ray and Jackson Drake. I think at the beginning, they introduced too many characters at once. I think they introduced like 5 characters in like the first page of the book, and I was like, hold up, I cannot follow this. At first it was kind of hard to follow along, but then you kind of get the hang of it afterwards. I was honestly a big fan of her assistant baker, Fee. That was her best friend, and Fee is so cool. I wanted to be her friend so bad. I think it took me like 4 or 5 days to read this book in total, and every single moment I never got bored. I found myself really excited to read it. I really like chiclets. I just love them. They're just, so yeah, those were the 2 books that I just talked about. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below. Or you can tell me what you're currently reading. That would be cool. Stick around for new videos. I don't know when, but soon. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!